Welcome back to our deep dive into business model generation. We just finished talking about all those mind-blowing business models from the book, and now I'm ready to actually put this knowledge into action. How do we bring these ideas to life in the real world?
Well, that's where things get really interesting. The book has this framework for something called business model, environment, and strategy. It's all about understanding the forces at play around your business and adapting your model to fit.
Okay, so it's not enough to just have a great business model in theory. You need to be aware of the context you're operating in,
Exactly. It's like you wouldn't go on a road trip without a map.
right?
You need to understand the terrain before you set off.
So how do you map out the business environment? What are you looking for?
The book breaks it down into four key areas: market forces, key trends, industry forces, and macroeconomic forces.
Okay, that makes sense. So you're looking at things like what customers want, what your competitors are doing, how technology is changing, and even things like the overall economy and political climate.
Precisely. By understanding these forces, you can spot potential opportunities and threats, and then adapt your business model accordingly.
I see. So it's like you're constantly scanning the horizon for changes,
Yeah.
and then adjusting your course to stay ahead of the game.
That's a great way to put it. It's about being proactive and anticipating change rather than reacting to it after it's already happened.
And are there specific strategies or tools that can help with this process of adapting to the changing environment?
Absolutely. The book highlights the importance of strategic frameworks. Like, have you ever heard of blue ocean strategy?
Yeah, it rings a bell, but refresh my memory.
So blue ocean strategy is all about creating uncontested market space. It's about finding those blue oceans where you can offer unique value and stand out from the competition instead of just battling it out in existing crowded markets.
Okay, so it's not just about being better. It's about being different, finding a new angle that sets you apart.
Exactly. Like, think about Cirque du Soleil. They didn't try to compete with traditional circuses. They created a whole new category by blending elements of theater acrobatics and music.
That's such a good example.
Yeah.
They created a blue ocean by reimagining what a circus could be.
And look at Nintendo Wii. They didn't try to beat PlayStation or Xbox on graphics and processing power. They focused on a totally different value proposition, intuitive motion controls, and family-friendly games.
It's about finding that sweet spot that no one else is occupying.
Right. By understanding the environment and applying strategic frameworks like Blue Ocean Strategy, you can build a business model that's both innovative and resilient.
This is all great stuff. But I keep coming back to the question of implementation. How do we actually bring these ideas to life?
That's the million-dollar question. And luckily, the book gives us a roadmap. It outlines a 5-phase process for making those business model dreams a reality.
5 phases. Okay, I'm all ears. Break it down for me.
All right, so the first phase is called mobilize.
Mobilize. So that sounds like it's about getting everyone on board and ready to go.
Exactly. It's about getting the right people involved, securing resources, and creating a shared understanding of the goals and challenges ahead. It's about building momentum and getting everyone excited about the journey.
I can see how that's crucial, especially if you're trying to make big changes in a large organization. You need everyone rowing in the same direction.
Right. Once you've got the team assembled and everyone's on the same page, then you move into the understand phase.
So this is where you really start digging into the details of your business model and the environment you're operating in.
Exactly. You're doing your research, analyzing the market, understanding your customers, and assessing your own capabilities.
Yeah?
You're gathering all the intel you need to make informed decisions.
This is where you put on your detective hat and start piecing together the puzzle.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then comes the fun part, design. This is where you let your creativity run wild. Brainstorming, prototyping, experimenting with different ideas.
This sounds like where the magic happens. But it also sounds like it could get messy. How do you keep things on track and make sure your ideas are actually viable?
That's where the book's emphasis on prototyping and testing comes in. You don't just come up with an idea and then jump right in. You build a prototype, test it in the real world, and get feedback.
So it's an iterative process. You're
Right.
constantly refining and improving your ideas based on what you learn.
Exactly. It's about finding that sweet spot between what's desirable, viable, and feasible.
I like that. And then comes the moment of truth, implement.
Yes. This is where you put your plan into action. You build the infrastructure, develop processes, acquire resources, and launch your new model into the market.
This is where the rubber meets the road. But I imagine it's rarely smooth sailing. Are there any tips for navigating the challenges of implementation?
The book emphasizes the importance of being agile and adaptable. The real world is messy and unpredictable. So you need to be prepared to adjust your course as you go.
So it's not about sticking rigidly to the plan. It's about being flexible and responsive to feedback.
Precisely. And that brings us to the final phase, manage.
Okay, so this is about ensuring that your new business model thrives in the long run.
You're monitoring its performance, evaluating its effectiveness, and making adjustments as needed. It's like tending a garden. You need to nurture and care for your business model to make sure it stays healthy and continues to grow.
So it's an ongoing process of learning, adapting, and evolving.
Exactly. There's no finish line when it comes to business model innovation. It's a continuous journey.
This has been incredibly insightful. I'm feeling a lot more confident about tackling those business model challenges.
That's great to hear. And remember, the Business Model Generation book is a fantastic resource to keep coming back to as you navigate this journey.
I definitely will. And in the next part of our deep dive, we'll explore how to apply these concepts in even more detail. So stay tuned.